Hi, welcome to All About Yarn podcast, episode 8, and it's the 6th of July 2015. I'm Jenny, and I am also known as Jenster79 on Ravelry. I have an Etsy shop at allaboutyarn.etsy.com where you can buy hand-dyed yarn and fibre and my handmade stitch markers. There's some novelty stitch markers and some sparkly pretty ones as well, so there's a quite decent selection in there at the moment. And where else am I? I'm on Instagram, Twitter and WordPress, all About Yarn, so everywhere but Ravelry, that's how you'll find me. We've also got a Facebook page which I encourage you to come and like, because I put all my sales and promotions up there and shop updates. And also there's a Ravelry group, so if you're a member of Ravelry, come and join us. All About Yarn is the name of the group as well, and I put up a thread for every episode of the podcast, and that'll have a link to the latest podcast and some chat about it as well. And so far the members of the group, you're all going to be lovely, but the members of the group who've been coming in and chatting are just really nice, and it's lovely to connect with other like-minded people. So thank you for coming and watching me. Thank you for trying me out if this is your first time, and thank you for coming back if you've watched me before and you're coming again. This week my sections are works in progress, finished items, acquisitions, out and about, shop news and loose ends. So I'm going to crack on and get into it, see if I can not get too distracted this week. First off, with my works in progress, I've got my 2 jumpers that I'm working on. I have made some progress since the last time I talked to you. My Tonks Togs jumper. Now, I think I might have finished... Had I finished the body of it last time I talked to you? I've got a doodad halfway down the body. There, look. So I don't know whether that's from... I forgot to move it after the last podcast. But that's the body of the jumper. And I've also got a sleeve, and I know I hadn't finished the sleeve last time. Maybe I'd gone to that, or maybe that was just for me. I put these things in everywhere and it's very confusing. But yeah, so I've knitted the sleeve with the cable design all the way up, so I really need to crack on, get into the second sleeve, and then it will be joining it and knitting the yoke, and it'll be done. So I love it when you've done all the, the body and the sleeves and you start knitting the yoke, because it all seems to come together so fast then. I just love how it all suddenly is finished and you're like, oh, I thought I had ages left and there's hardly anything. Anyway, that is the Tonks Togs jumper, as I mentioned. I've told you that before, if you've watched before. It's from the unofficial Harry Potter Knits magazine, which is a bit dog-eared, but that's because it's so loved. I love the patterns in this and I'm going to be making way more of them. It's by Interweave Press, although I do believe that there's a version available to us in Britain now. Is it called something like Wizardly Knits or something like that? I'll look it up and put it in the show notes. But the Tonks Togs, it's a 2-part jumper. There's a chunky cabled jumper, which is what I'm doing, and then there's a lacy over jumper which is supposed to change the look of it, but I'm not doing that right now. Maybe another time, but it's not something that's really calling to me. So that's the jumper that I'm doing. I just love all the cables and everything, and as I say, I'm up to there on one side. So get that other sleeve done, and it shouldn't take too long because they're not hugely baggy sleeves. So, and then get it all finished off. I think I am going to try the asymmetric neckline just for ease of not having to rejig it, because originally I wanted to make a rounded neck. I'm not very big on asymmetric things usually, but you never know, I might really like it. It might start a whole new thing for me. So that's my first work in progress. My second is the Dragon Lace Pullover by Angela Hahn, and this is a knit-along that I'm taking part in the 7th floor, which is part of the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup group on Ravelry. It's for the Gryffindors of the House Cup. And Purple Snowdrop, hi Marie, said that she found this pattern and drew our attention to it a few months ago and invited us to join her in knitting it, and I just happened to have a sweater quantity of double knit yarn which I thought would do the job, and so I decided to join in. I'm not sure how many of us there are, I'm sure there's a good half dozen of us doing it, but what I've also found out since is that apparently there's a knit along for the Great London Yarn Crawl doing this pattern. I don't know why they chose it, I don't know anything about that, but somebody else, one of my friend's mums, came and said to me, are you doing it for that knit along? I'm like, didn't know anything about it. Anyway, so I've got to the waist. The needles are a little bit too short so you can't see the shaping, but I've gone past the waist and I've started the lace, the dragon lace, so I'm quite pleased with that. Sorry, you see me peering over the top. That's coming out quite nicely, it's nice and crisp. I was a bit worried because this is Sirdar Snuggly DK, which is an acrylic yarn and one that I only usually use for the kids, but as I say, I had a sweater quantity, so I thought, well, I might as well give it a try. So where's the pattern? The pattern, if I can show you a picture of the finished, here we are, without giving anything away because it's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. That's how the dragon will look when it's all done, and the waist shape. I like a jumper with waist shaping, and I'm working my way up the chart at the moment, and there's 95 rows of the chart and I've just finished row 32, so what am I, over a third of the way through, so I'm cracking on. I do need to stop soon and read because I'm sure that I'm going to have to split for armholes and things before I finish the lace chart, otherwise I'm going to have this hugely long, it's going to be more like a dress, and I'm going to finish the charting and realise that that's supposed to come all the way up to the shoulder or something, so, but I'm still increasing for going out from the waist, so once I finish that bit, which I think is about another 6 rows, then I'll go back and read the pattern again and make sure that I'm doing it all right. So they're my only works in progress at the moment. I just finished a spin earlier, so that's gone into finished items. I'm not knitting on anything else, I've just got those 2 big projects at the moment. I still haven't got round to knitting that second Jaywalker sock. That may well not happen now until the autumn, because there are so many other things that I want to do. So it sort of comes into plans and that, but I'm tying it all together and mixing it up this week. Because it's not a work in progress, it would have been, but I decided to knit while my daughter had her lunch rather than start my spin. So the next fibre on my wheel is this one, and it's Spin City Blended Roving, and I have no idea what's in this other than sparkle, but it feels very pretty, feels very nice. I'm going to divide that up into long thin strips before I start spinning it, and I'm going to divide the pile of long thin strips into 2 piles and spin it and 2-ply it. But I mean, you see you've got a good chunk there of that purpley colour, and there's chunks of like the blue, so what I'm hoping is that I'll get quite distinct colours if I split it all lengthways, and then it'll make a really interesting 2-ply, because I don't want to just spin it all together and have it all blend and be in a big mush. I'm trying to get some distinct colours out of it, but yeah, you can see better in that bit there, look, at the end there's some good stripes of colour going on, so hopefully I can do that quite nicely. And I'm going to try and spin this quite thinly, so I don't spin really thinly yet. The finest I've spun when it's been 2-plied has come out as a light fingering weight. I'm nowhere near spinning lace weight, which is fine because I don't knit lace weight really more than about once every 2 years, so there's not a lot of point in me spinning a lace weight yarn. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this because Spin City, she has an Etsy shop, and I think that this fibre is one that I'd actually favourited on Etsy, but I never treated myself to it. But then she was at Wonderwall, and I found her stall this year, and I didn't last year. I can't remember why. But I went and deliberately found her stall this year and treated myself to a couple of braids, and I think both of them might actually already have been in my favourites on Etsy, so at least I was consistent. So yeah, I'm looking forward to spinning that, and I imagine that by the next time I speak to you I will have finished this and probably one or two other spins, if not be quite a long way towards finishing them, because it's Tour de Fleece at the moment. It just started on Saturday on the 4th. Was it the 4th? Yeah, Independence Day for all of you in America, so happy Independence Day. Happy leaving us and going off on your own. But anyway, what was I saying? Independence Day, Tour de Fleece. No, Tour de France. So Tour de France started on Saturday, and as most of you who watch this will know, Tour de Fleece runs in conjunction with the Tour de France, and it's my first year with a wheel for the Tour de France. So the last 2 years I've tried to do it with my spindle, but I just couldn't get up the enthusiasm to spin a lot with the spindle. I think I managed one braid last year, if I remember rightly, but you know, I'm just loving it so much more now that I've got my Ashford. So it's over there, I keep looking at it, that's why I'm looking that way. So yeah, so this is going to be my second spin of the tour, because I did start a spin on Saturday, and I'll show you that in a minute with finished items, because it's just barely a finished item. But I have a chest full of lovely fibre now, and I really want to see if I can crack on and get through some of it and turn it into beautiful, beautiful yarn. So I'm gonna take advantage of the tour. So you'll see more spinning. I've just finished watching, while I was having my lunch, I watched Fluffy Kira Laura's podcast, The Corner of Knit and Tea, and she said that she just goes crazy with spinning during the tour. It's an excuse just to sit and spin and spin and spin, and I think that's how it's going to be for me too. I'm really making the most of it this year, so all my evenings I think I'll be spinning and see if I can really make a dent in my fibre stash, so that when I go to the Bristol Wool Fair in September I'll have room to put new fibre in. It'll be amazing, and I'm still squishing this. It's so lovely. I'm going to put it down because I'm messing. So that wasn't a work in progress, but it was nearly a work in progress. You know, like come back in 4 hours time and it would be a work in progress. So I thought I could include that there. Finished items. I have nothing knitted that's finished because the two knitted things are quite big, the jumpers that I'm doing. This is where I'm going to remember that I knitted something last week and I've completely forgotten to talk about it, but I'll just have to show you next time. But I'm fairly certain I haven't done anything. I did quite a lot of spinning instead, and then just had a really busy couple of weeks with, and it's been so hot as well, hasn't it? Has it been hot where you are? Because it's just been sweltering. I mean, we've got a clear view out across the Bristol Channel, so you'd think that we'd get loads of lovely breezes and that, and we get high winds. Whenever there are storms, there are high winds that come and batter the house, but when it's blooming hot, there's not a breeze to be found, so it's like an oven out in the garden last week. But I'll get to that later on anyway. I'm going all over the place again. I'm going to be hopping backwards and forwards like a flea on a hot brick. So, finished items. Yes, they're all spins. Now if I try and do them in the order that I actually did them, the first one I finished is this one, and I was actually really pleased with how this came out. This is, or was, 2 packets of fondant fibre poonies, and she's at fondantfibre.com, I think, or .co.uk. She's in England anyway. I know that she's a British dyer, and I'd seen a lot of people talking about her fibre and her yarn, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go. And I'd never spun from poonies or rolags before, and she had some on her website, all mixed up, all different colours. I think I might have shown them to you last time I was talking to you. So I got some, and I spun each packet up onto a different bobbin. So I think there were 2 ounces in each packet. So I spun each packet up onto a separate bobbin and then 2-plied them, but I made sure that the poonies were all in different colour order so that they wouldn't collide. And yeah, I've written it down, I've got 509 yards, and I think it's roughly 100 grams, so it is a light fingering. I don't know what this is going to be yet, or whether it might be a gift for somebody. I haven't decided, but there's sparkle in it as well, which you can just see a little bit of glitter as I wiggle it about in front of the camera. But yeah, I was really pleased with it because there were such different colours as well. I really didn't know how it would come out. Oh, that's much better for the colours, except you can't see the green. Well, anyway, there's all different colours in there. I put pictures up on Instagram, and I think there are pictures on my Ravelry account as well, if you were interested in going and seeing more. But it was a whole blend of different fibres and things like that, so it didn't say what was in it, but I think a little bit of everything really. So that was the first one, and there was a teeny tiny little bit left when I'd finished plying, so I end-plied it and got this little black and sparkly thing. And I'm getting these little things because I think everybody does. There's a little bit left on the bobbin, so you end-ply it or do something tiny with it. So I think I'm going to have to start another blanket with just my little hand-spun end-plied ends of bobbins. Maybe a is it a 10-stitch blanket where you start and you just go round and round and round and round? Maybe something like that, so I can just throw all the different yarns in, because they're all roughly the same weight, all of these mini skeins that I'm coming out with. Anyway, the next one, I pulled out some of the John Arbon fibre that I bought at the mill open day back in May, and the fibre was, I bought 100 grams of 70% merino, 30% Devon's Wartballs, which is a coarser fibre, and it's a very dark brown, almost a black, but it's very, very dark brown. And I was really drawn to the colours because they'd done it was comb top, and so it came down as stripes of red and yellow, and then this Wartballs browny, very dark brown black. And I really, really liked how it looked. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, especially because the coarseness of the Wartballs, I didn't know whether it was going to be a wearable wool once I'd spun it. But as I say, just the colours and the unusual nature of the combination really drew me in. And anyway, so I spun it up and it came out like this. I end-plied it because once I saw how it was spinning up, my older son loves the colour orange, and it was coming out to be very orangey with little bits of red and yellow, and then the darker Wartballs coming through as well. And the 70% merino has made it a really nice balance, so it feels like a very wearable yarn, but quite a durable one. So I decided that I'm going to make him a nice winter hat, a beanie hat. I was just watching Fairy Little Twitch and Stitch, and apparently in Canada you call it a toque. Is that right? For a beanie hat? So yeah, that's what this one will be. It looks the same colour as the sofa. It's not too far off. But then the sofa looks redder than it is on the camera as well. But yeah, no, I was really pleased with that. So that's, as I say, that's Navajo plied, and I got 165 yards from this one. So I finished that right at the end of June. I think that was literally the last day of June that I finished that one. And then Erin decided that because Jack was having a new hat for winter, she wanted a new hat. So she went through my fibre stash and pulled out some that I dyed myself, and said she wanted me to spin that for her. And I thought that it was an alpaca superfine that I'd bought, again from John Arbon, but this time I think it was at Wonderwool. But it wasn't, because I then found the alpaca superfine, so I don't know what this was. It could have been a random spare 100 grams of fibre that I had, and I just threw it in a dye pot when I was doing something else, because it's very similar to how I dyed the alpaca. So I think it's either merino or a blueface Leicester, because they seem to be the fibres that I've got the most of. But I dyed it mainly red with big patches of purple in it, and then I spun it and end-plied it again, and this is how it's come out. It's really shining, which makes me think the sheen on it, it does make me think that it might be Blueface Leicester, because that does seem to have a sheen a lot. If I cover the camera, give it a bit of shade. Oh, it doesn't like that at all, does it? There you go, that's not too bad for the colours. Yeah, she's really happy with this, and it's a nice soft one as well, so she'll be getting a beanie hat. And then she's nothing but fair. So once I was nearly finished with this, I think once it was in the bath and having a soak, she said, right, well, you have to do some for Ben now. So she went up to my fibre stash, she knows where it all is, went through it, pulled out 4 or 5 different colourways, put them all on my bed, and then went and got Ben as soon as he came home from school, marched him up the stairs into my room where the fibre is, and said, right, pick one, because Mummy's going to make you a hat, so you have to pick one. And he picked, I had a mixed bag of broken tops from Wigan Woolworks in all different blues, you'll see now. And he picked this one, and it's a 250 gram bag, so I didn't spin it all, I just spun 1 bobbin full, which I expect is going to be about 100 grams, because that's what I've been fitting on a bobbin, maybe a little bit less, because I didn't overfill it, I wasn't having to really squish it down to make it all fit. But I just finished that this morning, and stupidly soaked it before podcasting. I should have waited, because there was no way, it's really grey today and it's been raining already, there was no way that it was going to dry before I got round to podcasting. So what I've done, I've brought it in a jug, because I really wanted to show it to you while it's still wool rather than a hat, because I might just about get round to knitting this month. I've got a couple of trips, and hats would be really good travel knitting. So yeah, it's really damp. I soaked it, and it smells nice as well. I soaked it and snapped it and squeezed out as much water as I could. I haven't skeined it up or anything, so I'm going to go and hang it up as soon as I've finished. And you see, why do the colours not come out? I do have news about my camera, so I'll be telling you that shortly. But you see, I have this problem with all my cameras. They don't seem to show the blues and the turquoises and that when there are blues mixed in with them. I wonder if I put it with red, will it come out then? No. Okay, so there is royal blue and almost a greeny turquoise and an aqua, a sort of minty aqua colour. There's navy blue, French navy, a very pale baby blue. It's really, really nice. Maybe when it's all knitted up it'll come out nicely, but I pulled off chunks of each of the colours and spun them so that it should stripe a little bit as well. And he's really pleased with all these multicolours. He likes brighter things than his oldest brother does, so that's really cool. And I think, I was going to say how much I had of that, but I haven't written it down. 134 yards, I think it was. So that should be enough for a hat, hopefully. I can't remember how much there was. I seem to remember we did a hat knitting challenge a couple of years ago, and we had to use 150 yards, and quite a lot of people had to make a big pom-pom to get to 150 yards, so I should be alright with 134, and that's the least amount, because the red that I did for Erin, there's 160, and this one's 165, so I know that there'll be enough, especially Erin, she's only little, but Jack's head is as big as mine now, so there did need to be a little bit more wool for that. Yeah, so they're my finished items, all spinning. I'll work really, really hard on my jumpers and see if I can get either of them finished by the next time that I talk to you. Although, if the weather is as it has been, I won't be wearing them for a while, because it's been seriously hot and we're just not used to it. I mean, those of you who live in hot places will laugh, because we've had it about sort of 34, 35 degrees C, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but probably not very hot compared to California or Texas or even the Mediterranean and places like that. You have properly hot weather, but I think it's because it's so hot and sticky and humid, and we're not used to it, and so it's just, oh, we're not sleeping properly, and of course we're not geared up for it in the way that we don't have air conditioning in our homes. So if it's hot, you're just hot. There's nowhere to escape it. I sent Ben up to the post office with me with a parcel when it was really, really hot last week, and I said to him, look, here's a couple of quid, go and get yourself an ice lolly on the way home. And he said it was so lovely and cool in Sainsbury's that he just walked really, really slowly the longest way around the shop he could to cool down before he came home with his ice lolly. So, bless him. At least he's smart and he didn't rush around and miss out on the air conditioning. But, oh dear, bless him. So yeah, it's been really, really hot, and it's not been jumper wearing weather at all. It's just such a contrast, because the beginning of June and even towards the middle of June was still sort of, it was nice to wear a shawl. Even if you weren't wearing a coat, it was nice to have something on just to keep warm. But all of a sudden it started firing up, and because last week was the first week of Wimbledon, and on centre court the tennis players were playing in like 41 degrees in the baking sun. Oh, I can't imagine. I was barely moving when it was like 32 or something here, and I was just trying not to move at all and find shady places to actually have to do energetic things in 41 degrees of direct sunshine would just, oh, no, I couldn't do it. Anyway, acquisitions. I've got a few things to show you with that. I'm not going to work in order because I can't remember what came first. So I'll start with the littlest ones first. I treated myself to some stitch markers. A lady who is a member of my Ravelry group, Ava, shared, I think her name is Truly Wicked Designs on Instagram. I could be wrong. Again, show notes. I'll write it all down. But she has an Etsy shop, and she shared in my Ravelry group some things that she'd done with modelling clay, and she'd done these dragon egg stitch markers, and they were really, really lovely. And in Gryffindor, in the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup, we do like dragons, and especially my fellow Gryffindor friend Marie really likes dragons, and so they caught my attention, and I ordered this set of dragon egg stitch markers, and they're on these earring clasps, as you can see. So hang on, I've got a phone number on the back of there, I can't show you that. There you go. Does that work? No, they're moving too much. Anyway, they're really, really cool. Such detail has gone into these things. So she had a choice of about 10, and you went and chose which 4 colours that you wanted. And so I chose, well, obviously I chose these, and I said I was going to see if I could bear to give up the purple one and send it to Marie, Purple Snowdrop. Hi. And Ava was so kind because she sent another purple one, and also the cutest little dragon. I've got to get my phone now because I've got a picture of it on there, holding a ball of yarn, and it's just, oh, so cute. So where are we? Bear with. Like Tilly Trout says, if you were actually sat here having a cup of tea with me, you would sit and wait while I was looking for a photo that I wanted to show you. So this is totally just, you know, what happens when you visit somebody and have a cup of tea. Oh, do you know what? I can't find a picture. I might have deleted it. I can't have deleted it. Oh look, there's another thing I'll show you though. Do you remember I was saying about that Zwart balls? That was the fibre. I took a picture of it while I was spinning it. So that was the red and the yellow, and then the dark, which you can't see. You can see a bit of it. That's how the fibre was before it was spun up. Yeah, and then it blended into that orange. I know where it'll be. Hang on. Instagram. because I Instagrammed a picture of it because he was so cute. I was running out of space on my phone last week, and so I deleted the pictures. There we are. I found it now. Look. How cute is he? And he's tiny. I mean, if you look at the size of that stitch marker, and then there's this tiny little, see, tiny little dragon holding a little golden ball of yarn. How perfect is that? A little beady eye and everything. So that was so kind. Thank you so much for doing that. I mean, that just, well, made my day, because I didn't have to give up my purple stitch marker, because I would have felt bad about keeping it because of how much Marie loves purple. Even though it's my favourite colour as well, so really I should have ordered 2. I didn't think that through. But it was just so kind of you to include that little dragon for Marie as well. So I posted them off and she's received them, and she said that she really, really likes them. And yeah, so that was just lovely. Thank you so much. My next acquisition actually arrived today on Instagram again. I'm on Instagram quite a lot, quite regularly. There's a yarn shop in Bath called A Yarn Story, and I can't remember if they've moved premises recently or if they're actually a new shop, but they, I think she reached a certain number of followers and decided to do a giveaway. So she said the first 4 or 5 people to comment would win a Madeline Tosh unicorn tail, which is a mini skein of yarn, in the colour of your choice. And I just happened to log on to Instagram about 3 minutes after she'd posted this, so I immediately went on and left a comment, and I was lucky. So that's her, look, A Yarn Story, and they've got a website, and I think that you can shop online as well, but I'm really hoping to get down to Bath at some point and see it, because it just looks lovely from all the pictures, and the fact that there's more than just acrylic yarn really calls to me. So I chose, the colourway is called Mandala, and it's variegated, not quite so blue as in that picture. It's something about the light in my house, honestly. I say that all the time, don't I? But Madeline Tosh, look, which is exciting in itself, because I don't think I've got a full skein of Madeline Tosh yet, and it's just, it feels so lovely. But it's Tosh Merino Light, which I think is that the fingering weight one, because there are 52 yards and I think it's about 10 grams. So that's the care label that came with it. And this will be going into my sock yarn blanket. Not the one for the shop, the one for me, for warmth. So that'll be a really nice inclusion. And I imagine I'll get a couple of squares out of that as well, so that'll be lovely. And it's a singles by the look of it. A singles merino. Lovely, lovely deep colours. So that was great. Thank you ever so much. And finally, of my, things that I can show you, my John Arbon Textiles Mill membership pack arrived, and I haven't Instagrammed it, just in case there's anybody left out there who is thinking about becoming a member and hasn't seen the pack yet. I thought I'd open it on the podcast and show you. So I chose the Spinners membership. So I received 200 grams of organically farmed Polworth, and I've had this before and I've dyed this before, and I don't know if I've spun it myself, but I know other people have, and it's beautiful fibre. It's really, really lovely, and I'm just about this week hopefully going to be putting in an order for some more to dye, because excuse me, I don't have very much fibre left at all. I'm going to do a stock take this afternoon and work out what I need yarn and fibre wise, and get a couple of orders sent off, so that'll be exciting. So big bag of fibre, which I now need to decide whether I'm going to spin as it is or dye and then spin, and I'm leaning towards dyeing then spinning. So there's that. I also had a mini skein of the Knit by Numbers in this gorgeous sunshiny yellow, and that's Knit by Numbers number 50, and that's their tag, just so you can see, from John Arbon Textiles. So this is a double knit, if I remember rightly. I'm not quite sure what this will go into. I might put it, do you remember when I went to the mill, they had some discounted knit by numbers, and I got a green, a blue, a red and a cream, and I was going to do some colour work. I might go and put it in the bag with those, and then it sort of opens my options up a bit, and I can put this in with some of those colours if I find a pattern that calls for more colours than I've got. At least, you know, it's all the same yarn. But it feels lovely, it really does. I can see why people make a fuss about it. So I'll look forward to knitting that up. I expect that'll probably be September time now, so that they're all ready for the cold weather. And then, so obviously you've got the bag then for putting projects in or spinning in, because it's a nice canvasy, heavy cotton bag, which will be good for that. So you get a catalogue which has got all their socks and things in that they sell. And you also get a little pack, which, I don't know why I showed you that, there's nothing on it. Oh dear. With some information about the mill membership. But your membership card is, how cool is this? Your membership card is actually a needle gauge card. It's made out of metal, and it's got my membership number on the back. I'm not going to tell you, we're not having my discount. And you get 2 badges as well. So I'm going to have a show bag, I reckon, and put my badges on it for various people that I shop with. So yeah, so that's that. That was my John Arbon bag. So that was lovely. That arrived not long after the last time I podcasted. So that was, yeah, I need to think about what colours to dye that fibre now. That might have to wait until after the tour is finished, because I'm going to be a bit busy. And I do need to do some dyeing for the shop sometime soon as well. So maybe dyeing for me will have to take a bit of a back seat for a little while. Now, the last podcast in the acquisitions section, I completely forgot to mention the patterns that I've been gifted for my birthday. I got 2 patterns sent to me. Maria Samira on Ravelry, hi Maria, sent me the Tallulah cardigan pattern, and that's perfect because I'm planning on knitting a couple of cardigans for my little girl who starts nursery school in September. So that was absolutely great, perfect timing, because I can get into that in August now. Red is the colour of the uniform over there, and I've not been impressed. I've been looking around for uniform, and we've got most of it for her now, but the cardigans are just rubbish. They're these little thin acrylic, and it's like that squeaky acrylic as well, you know, and so I thought, no, she wouldn't be warm in those at all, there's no point. So I thought, oh well, I'll knit her a couple, because even if they do get strict about uniform later through the school, I don't think that they're so strict in nursery, so I'll probably get away with it this winter at least. And also, it'll be harder for her to lose her cardigans, because nobody else will have cardigans just like them. So for that reason, just in case there are any other knitters over there, I decided to do pattern cardigans, and this Tallulah was one that I saw, which I thought I could adapt, because it's quite a short cardigan, so I'm going to make it a little bit longer for her. And it'll be really nice. Just a simple, there's a lace pattern going down the sleeves, I think, if I remember rightly. But then also, my friend Jen on Ravelry sent me Molly's Army ebook with 3 crochet patterns. There were 2 hats and a shawl, so they look really nice. I'm really tempted by that shawl. I might have to figure out and do that over a long time through the winter, because if you remember, I have some sort of problem with my hands, which the doctors can't figure out what it is, which means that I can't crochet for long periods of time, otherwise they just cramp up and get really sore and painful. The same problem means that I can't type on a traditional keyboard for more than about half an hour without having pain, which is really what's pushed me towards working on my shop and trying to work from home and work for myself, because I don't think I could work in an office again with the amount of typing that you'd have to do in any office environment. But I went off track again. But crochet, I still really love to crochet, but I do have to take it very easy and just do tiny little, like 15 minutes a day, and then I can get through a project. But yeah, it looks a really nice shawl. I think it's called Ginny's Patronus cloak, or Ginny's invisibility cloak. And it looks a really nice pattern, so yeah, I'll have to look into that for the winter and see if I can fit that into my crafting schedule, because that would be a nice a crochet shawl would be a nice warm one to take away when I go to Norway in the winter as well. So yeah, that would be a good idea. And then after the last podcast, Marie, hi Marie. Oh, I meant to ask you, how's your dragon lace pullover coming on? Because I keep forgetting to ask you whenever we exchange sentences on Instagram or Ravelry or wherever. But how's it coming on? Are you into the lace section yet? Let me know. Let me know in the Ravelry group, because I don't want to be doing this all on my own. So and also, who else is doing it with us? Because I'm sure that you said there are a few of us doing it, weren't there? Yeah. Anyway, sidetracked again. Sorry. Marie sent me the Miss Winkle pattern by Martina Behm. I'm tripping over my tongue now, aren't I? It's because I'm trying to go faster and get through everything I want to say to you. The Sarah's Texture Crafts fibre that I spun, the gradient braid that I had. You know, I said I wanted to knit a sideways shawl with it, so that I'd be able to see the gradient as it worked through. Well, Marie sent me this pattern because it's a sideways construction, and it's got little loops along the edge, which apparently are quite easy to memorise. Once you've got them, and it should show up the gradient beautifully, because I'll just keep going all the way along. I think I've got a feeling is it an asymmetric triangle, and you just keep going and keep going and keep going, and then stop when you come to the end of your yarn, rather than it being a crescent or something like that. But I do plan on starting that, and finishing it this month. As I said, I've got a couple of trips coming up, and chances are I won't talk to you before, so I can tell you about the main one. We managed to get tickets to go and see some Davis Cup tennis. Did I already tell you that? Well, anyway, that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and Ben, who's my tennis fiend, he is the reason that we're going, and he and I, just the two of us, are going to go up to London, have a night in London and watch some tennis, and have a few hours in London the next morning then before we get the train back. But you see, I've got that lovely long train journey all the way there, and the lovely train journey all the way back, and all that time sitting watching at Queen's Club, watching the Davis Cup tennis, and all the, the bits where they're not doing anything and we're just sitting around waiting. And then after Ben's gone to bed on the Saturday evening, there'll be an hour or two before I'm probably going to sleep. So think of all that knitting time, I can get through so much of this shawl. So it's perfect. So I'm saving this for that trip. And then when I get back, I'll have about 10 days before the end of the month to finish it if I want to hand it in for points in the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup group on Ravelry. So yeah, slightly obsessed by the fake imaginary internet points that I can win for Gryffindor, but I should be. I'm head girl of Gryffindor. I should be obsessed by it, and I am. And you should see the amount of spinning I'm gonna get through this month for Gryffindor. It's gonna be immense. But anyway, yeah. So that was fantastic. It was a lovely, lovely surprise to get that pattern. So thank you again, and I really can't wait to cast that on. I'll probably cast it on before I leave to see if I can try and get it in my head before I get on the train, so that once I get on the train and settle down to it, I can just charge on and I'm not trying to work it out while I'm travelling and that. So, because I don't do very well with reading and travelling, although that's more in cars than on trains. Usually I'm alright in trains, but yeah, I wouldn't want to risk it. Yeah, so that is my big fat pile of acquisitions. Another great big fat pile of acquisitions. I don't think I should have that much to show you next time. That all depends whether I manage to make it to iKnit London or Loop or any of these other places. You just never know where I might happen to wander to. So my next topic is out and about. I haven't been out and about very much, but I did have a day on Saturday with my best friend because she asked me what I wanted for my birthday and I couldn't think of anything she could give me. So I said, well, why don't you take me out for the day and you can buy me lunch and we can go and look at somewhere beautiful. So the plan originally was to go to Wells, but neither of us had been feeling on top form in the week, and we decided just to go somewhere that we could just sit and look at a view and drink lots of tea. So, because when we go to Wells, we want to go around the cathedral and we want to really explore as much as we can and make the most of it. So we, instead of going to Wells, we've rescheduled that for the end of the month. We went to Clevedon on the North Somerset coast and Weston-super-Mare, which was really, really lovely. It was a beautiful day. It was a bit worrying at the start of the day because there were massive grey clouds on Saturday morning, but they passed over and it was beautiful blue skies by the time we got to Clevedon, and it was very quiet there actually. So we arrived by lunchtime and had a bit of lunch in a really nice cafe on the seafront, and the staff were all very friendly and lovely, so that was really, really nice. And we sat outside and in the sunshine and relaxed and drank lots and lots and lots of tea, and I think we had burgers, but they were really massive. I mean, how are you supposed to get these massive burgers with the buns and everything in your mouth? So I just sort of took it all apart and ate it in bits, but yeah, so that was lovely. And then we went and wandered down the pier and looked back over at Wales and waved at where we thought home was, and then we had some time left because it was only about 4 o'clock, so we decided to carry on down the coast and go to Weston-super-Mare because I'd never been. So we just had a flying visit. We were only there about an hour and a half, I think, long enough for another cup of tea, because that was the theme for the day, was just stopping for cups of tea everywhere. And then we drove home. So we were home for dinner, but we had a lovely long afternoon out and it was really relaxing, and my shoulders just went you know, when you've had a stressful week and you can just completely relax and let everything go, and it's just so lovely. So the reason for my long and stressful week, might as well do loose ends and leave shop news for last. It all started a week last Sunday. We'd had a reasonably busy weekend and managed to get all the kids to bed, and I think even Jack had gone up to bed early because he doesn't usually go till 9 now, but occasionally if he's tired he'll go up earlier because the other two go at 8. So about 8:30, and Rob and I were in the kitchen making our lunches because we've started doing these mason jar salads. Have you seen them? They're gorgeous and they keep the salad so fresh and lovely, and it looks so beautiful in the glass jar as well. I'll put a picture up at the end of the podcast and show you one of my salads that I've had. So we were nearly finished making our lunches for the next day, and I could hear this funny coughing from Erin upstairs, and I thought, oh, that's a bit weird, because it almost sounded like she was going to be sick. So I asked Rob if he'd go up and check on her, and he went up, and almost immediately I heard, Jen, could you come up here please, right now? So I went straight up the stairs, and he said, tell Mummy what you've done. And she started going, I swallowed a hair clip. I was like, oh my days. What did you swallow a hair clip for? What sort of a hair clip? Did you definitely swallow it? You haven't just lost it somewhere, you know, you're not just saying this. She went, no, I swallowed it. I was doing magic and I made it disappear. I was like, oh. Neither of the boys ever did anything like this. The worst they did was one of them chewed a crayon, you know, and they're all non-toxic, so it wasn't that much of an issue. But he ate a crayon, so his nappy was green or blue or whatever the colour of the crayon was when he next went. But so we had a trip up to A&E with Erin anyway. I took her straight up there, and because she wasn't in any distress, she wasn't struggling with her breathing, she wasn't in any pain. They weren't in a particular hurry to see her, so I think it took, we were there about 2.5 hours, and she had an x-ray, and they could see that sure enough this little metal hair clip was already gone through her stomach. So they said we've just got to wait until it comes out, and that there's nothing to be done, and obviously they weren't going to go and perform major surgery to go and get it out if it was going to come out itself at the other end. So that was not ideal. So we got back at about 11 o'clock at night. You'll have seen all of this going on if you've been following me on Instagram, because I was putting pictures up, but we got back about 11 o'clock at night and I got her into bed. But then of course I'm really keyed up, so it took me a while to properly get to sleep, and we already decided that we were going to do toilet training this week because she really needs to be ready for nursery, and it's the only week where there was nothing going on. There was no need for me to be going anywhere. We could just focus on being at home. And then this week now there's very little happening, so we could just focus on her and really crack it and get it done. So I was thinking, well, do I do the toilet training now or do I wait? Is it better if she's in nappies so I can see what's coming out, you know? And oh, I've got an itchy nose. So I decided, no, we're going to carry on with it. We're going to carry on with the plan. It was, as I say, really hot, sunny weather, so covered in suntan lotion, hat on, t-shirt on, knickers on, and that was all. She was able to just be in and out of the house. We've got a downstairs bathroom right by the back door, so that was perfect for her just to dash in whenever she needed it. And she's been doing really well. It's probably too much information, and I apologise if you're a bit squeamish, but she has been doing really well with her toilet training, and she's caught onto it really quickly, which is probably because she's quite old for it. But the books all say wait until your child tells you they want to, or they show an inclination. Well, my children never have. They've all had to be made to give up their nappies. So, but yeah, I think that the fact that she's already 3 has probably made it easier for her, because it's easier to explain to her what she has to do, and you know, she gets the whole concept quite quickly. Plus she has a big cousin who's 9 months older than her, so I can say, well, you know, you go like Megan does, you go and sit on the toilet now, and you don't need nappies for little girls like your little cousin. And yeah, so she's been doing really, really well, so that's good. And we've had a couple of little tentative trips out. The other out and about thing that we did was yesterday morning, and Jack, Ben and I all took part in the 3K for Kids fun run. Not yet. Maybe one day, maybe I'm getting a bit fitter slowly, so maybe eventually it'll be fun, but right now, not fun. But fun run in aid of George Thomas Hospice Care, which they are like, I don't know what you have in other countries, but a better known charity which provides this service in the UK. You have Marie Curie and Macmillan, who provide nurses for people with cancer to be nursed at home, and also provide support to the families when they're going through it, and information and support for patients as well, just to help them adjust. So George Thomas is a local charity that offers these services just within Cardiff, and they were doing a fun run to raise money. So we took part on that, and we have a Just Giving page, so if you have a spare £1 or £2 that you would be happy to donate, because it really is a really good cause, then I'll put the link to the Just Giving page in the show notes as well, and I would be really, really grateful for any small donations that you think you can afford to make to that. My father-in-law, we lost my father-in-law, it was 9 years ago at the end of June, and he had pancreatic cancer, and he would have been nursed by a George Thomas nurse, but unfortunately he was diagnosed on the Monday and he died the following Friday, so there wasn't even time for the nurse to come and meet with him. But I know that they do very good work with people who, obviously with people who survive, but with people who have longer until the end of their life than my father-in-law did. So it's a charity that is quite close to our hearts. So if you are able to support it, then that would be really brilliant. So anyway, yeah, that was a little out and about, because Rob brought Erin as well. So they had a little runabout and a race down by the finish line, and he did have to do a couple of quick races to the toilet block with her, so that because she doesn't have much advance warning yet. I mean, she's only a week in, so she is doing really well to not really have many accidents at all, but it was a bit of a rush to get there for her, bless her. But she was doing all right, and then today we walked up to the post office and back with a couple of parcels, and she was fine. You know, we were out for the better part of an hour, so she's doing really, really well. I'm really proud of her. But yeah, and what else did I have to talk about? I think that's it. I haven't been out and about, so that was why I haven't been out and about last week very much. So shop news, there's not that much shop news. I do, again, it's the season for discount codes, I think, in Owl About Yarn at the moment. I have a discount code valid until the 26th of July, aimed at spinners, but I can't restrict a code to just fibre in my shop, so it's valid all the way across. And the code is TDF10, or TDF10 then, and that will give you 10% off until the end of the Tour de Fleece, Tour de France, whichever one you're more into, which, as I say, is the 26th of July. So you've got a couple of weeks left before that expires. And the other, it's not exactly shop news, but it's something that I'm quite excited about, is that my husband has got a bit fed up of everything taking over our bedroom upstairs, and so we're going to be rejigging all the upstairs rooms, and I'm getting a spare room to have as my yarny place. So it's going to be very exciting, because there's going to be more room for me to have my desk out and to do organising things. So at the moment my yarn skeiner is over there by my spinning wheel, and I tend to do everything down here. I've got a chair that's got my Swift and ball winder attached to it over there, but that can all move upstairs then, and I think he'll be happier with that if it can be more put away, so it's just my works in progress and my spinning wheel that are on show all the time rather than all of the equipment. So we've got a bit of rejigging and moving around of furniture to do, and then I'll be able to move in there and have my own little office space slash shop room. What's studio? I suppose studio. I wouldn't be dying in there though. That's all going to be still in the kitchen. So, but it'll be where I label everything and do my businessy, accounty, websitey things as well. So yes, I'm quite excited about that. That I'll have a space that I can just arrange how I want to and not worry too much about it being in the corner of our bedroom. And I think he sees the pile of boxes getting higher and higher and higher that's full of yarn in the corner, and he's thinking that it's all going to fall over on him in the night or something, so he needs to do something about it. But yeah, anyway, I think that that's all that I wanted to talk to you about this week. I've gone on for plenty long enough, and thank you ever so much for sticking with me. I don't think there's going to be any shop updates in the next week or two, but if there are, they'll be on Instagram, because as I say, I need to put an order in for some more yarn and fibre to dye, so that's going to I'll probably be getting them in the next week or so. But then by the time I've dyed some stuff and, you know, weather dependent for drying it and everything as well, I'll probably talk to you before the next time. And by the next time I talk to you, it will probably be the summer holidays, so I'll have all of the little treasures home for the 6 weeks. So I'm not sure when I'll be podcasting, because I can't do it while they're at school. But we'll play it by ear. Maybe I'll podcast in the evening, or at a weekend I'll get my husband to take them out for an hour or something, give me some peace and quiet. But we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, happy crafting. If you're spinning along with the Tour de Fleece, good luck with that. I hope you get plenty of yardage and you have lots of fun doing it. And come and let me know in the Ravelry group what you're up to. and show me your finished spins if that's what you're doing. Marie, remember, I want to know how your dragon lace sweater's getting on. And everybody else, just come and chat with me, keep me posted on what you're doing. I love seeing what people are getting up to. And I will speak to you again in a couple of weeks. So take care. Bye. Oh, I don't think that one counts. I think another counts.
One more. One more. Okay, make it a good one. Oh, look at those. How big are those bubbles?
Turn around, Erin. Awesome.
Look at that one. He's going. He's going. Oh, he's gone.
Look at that one. Look. Look.
That was a Ben. Look. No, finish now.